And we'll wait for the sound of fire here. Good morning, Kevin Miller in the morning at KIDO Talk Radio. It's always that one that you want, isn't it? Great to be with you. We're at the brand new CapEd location here on Overload Road. Our great friend Todd Christensen joining us. Todd, good morning.
Good morning, Larry. Good morning. Larry, good golly.
Good morning, Todd. It's Kevin here.
Good morning,
Kevin. Let's talk a little bit
House
about
and Senate Republicans boarded buses to 1,600.
Let's talk a little bit about the facility here at CapEd.
Well, we're here on one of our new locations here off of South Meridian and Overland Road. It's one of our MCCs, or Member Convenience Center. We have grand opening activities today or throughout the day, and invite the listening audience to come out and check out one of our new locations.
Sure. What's so special about this location?
As individuals come into this location, one of the first things that they'll notice is that we don't have what many would refer to as the traditional teller line. And this is an open floor plan following some of the models that some people would articulate it as the Apple Store. Very open, come in, either utilize our ATMs that have all the functions that you could do at a teller, or engage with one of our personal financial representatives.
Well, and we've got a big show planned for everybody coming in today.
We do. We have several guests from the community. The new Meridian Chamber of Commerce CEO, as well as Mayor Tammy's going to stop by, and a couple other guests as well.
Anything else you'd like to share with us today, Todd?
Glad that everybody's listening here bright and early on the first day of winter.
Oh, indeed. So we'll talk to Todd all morning long. We do want to thank our great friends at CapEd, and we appreciate everybody listening during this time of season. Big news yesterday in Capitol Hill.
100 Pennsylvania Avenue for a celebration ceremony with President Trump.
They have tremendous enthusiasm right now in this country, and we have companies pouring back into our country, and that means jobs.
House Speaker Paul Ryan says overhauling the tax code is long overdue.
This is the kind of relief that Americans deserve. This is the kind of tax reform and tax cuts that get our economy growing to reach its potential.
No Democrats voted for the legislation. Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
And there we have it, a big news, a big victory for the President of the United States. A great freshman year despite everything that has gone wrong with the President. You know, will the media give him credit for that? 580-5436. 580-KIDO. Let's take a look at what Vice President Pence had to say.
When you're traveling around the country, people are sticking their hand out, shaking their hand, saying, thanks for what you're doing for the military. Tell the president thanks for what he's doing standing with law enforcement. Tell him thanks for what we're seeing in this economy once again.
So what we're seeing is the press and the Democrats saying one thing, and the vice president, the president saying everything else. People are going to get a tax break. And, you know, it's strange when you think about the first year of this administration, how bumpy it's been, the idea that they've had so much going on, and the goals and agenda that they've had, getting rid of Obamacare, getting business going, and what a way to end the year with this tax overhaul bill. And we'll see if it really continues with the economy. Now, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, let's face it, if you have a 401k, an IRA, if you're in the stock market, if you're an employer, things have been very good. They've been very good indeed. One can't argue with how the market continues to blow up in a good way. Now, there is a government shutdown just around the corner. We'll get to that. But first, let's hear what the Speaker of the House had to say as well.
We made a promise that if elected, this is what we would do. We're keeping our promise. I, as Speaker of the House, all the Senate Republicans, all the House Republicans, and President-elect Donald Trump, President-candidate Donald Trump, we told the American people, this is what you do if you elect us. This is what we are going to do. And guess what, Martha? We just did it.
There we have it. The President of the United States getting a round of applause from Paul Ryan. Amazing when you think about just the overall goal, if you will, when we're taking a look at this. It is simply amazing here. At 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Do you feel that the president is making America great again? I would say yes. As a matter of fact, when we're taking a look at the president and what people have given him credit for, I don't think that they've given him enough credit, but we'll continue on. Here is Kellyanne Conway.
Starting next year, literally, we'll have a different kind of tax code that we all live under. In February, many Americans will start to see the increases in their pay. Their paychecks will get fatter under this paycheck president. And in April, of course, April 15th, a day many Americans dread, they will recognize that many of them will simplify the way they file their taxes. None of them took an opportunity to give tax cuts and relief to our job creators, to middle-class families, and they're going to have to go home this Christmas and all next year and explain why they insisted this was a tax cut for the rich when just today you had major companies say they're going to give bonuses and other charitable contributions to their employees.
It is amazing when you think about this, people not giving the president the credit for it. What does the president have to say?
We essentially repealed Obamacare because we got rid of the individual mandate, which was terrible. They have been working on this for years and years. And I just want to turn around and I want to thank them all. They are very, very special.
One person who didn't think it was very special.
The president promised the middle class would benefit when he was on the campaign trail. And, of course, it raises taxes again on 86 million middle-class American families. The GOP said it would pay for itself. It would pay for itself. Instead, it will explode the national debt.
So there we have the other perspective. We'll take your phone calls at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Of course, people are looking at the idea of a government shutdown. They're looking at everything else as well. And one just has to take a look at where we're going next, and can a government shutdown be avoided?
The federal government could shut down Friday at midnight unless lawmakers come up with a budget deal, but there are sticking points. Lawmakers from states hit by hurricanes this summer want to see an $81 billion disaster aid bill. Defense hawks want to see long-term Pentagon funding. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's hopeful.
I know that all our colleagues on both sides of the aisle want to keep the government funded and attend to a number of other urgent priorities. I'm confident we can work together to do just that.
But after a closed-door meeting with fellow Republicans, House Rules Committee Chair Pete Sessions says there's no specific direction right now. In Washington, Jill Nato, Fox News.
So we have this big victory right now. We have this big victory with the tax code and everything else, and we still have both political parties not being able to get a budget done, right? It's very disappointing. The idea that businesses, that families, Dave Ramsey talks about this all the time when we're taking a look at responsibilities. Where is the responsibility of the federal government where we have, this great unrest right before the holiday season, right before Christmas? It just doesn't seem right. Again, we have people going on and on and on about this, and they should. And we'd love to take your phone calls at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. I know it's a little early, and, a lot of people are saying, what happened to you yesterday, Kevin Miller? Well, yesterday I took the day off and I slept until a whopping 5:15 and actually spent the day listening to this program, and it was kind of interesting hearing from the perspective of a listener. And as I was listening, going back and forth again and again and again, I got to tell you, it was interesting to get out and try and do certain things. I mean, the traffic was incredible. The people at the stores. This is going to be, I would predict, one of the biggest retail seasons ever. But there's a cause of concern, and I'm going to tell you about it next. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. All right, that's a lot better. Kevin Miller in the morning here as we continue on. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And I have to say that when we're taking a look at society today, and people are shopping and traffic and everything else, it was, again, a day without work. You know how it is. You go into the office, you do your thing, you're setting your routine. So yesterday for me, and I'm sure this is like this for everybody, and you just sit back and you kind of do your own thing. You get up, you have a couple doctor's appointments, you go places, and then, it turns into a case study. It turns into a case study when all of a sudden you're driving and you're doing certain things, and more people on the road. It's congested. And I thought to myself, what would be the Christmas spirit? What would be something that would be the best message that we could give folks? I think the best message that we could give folks, it would be called patience. That's right. I think it would be called patience on the road, and especially the folks in the service industry. You know, we come in, everybody wants to feel special. We work hard this time of year, but there are a lot of people that are working. This is their money time. This is their money time when you're sitting there and doing certain things and having a good time, and they're working. You know, some people working 10, 15, 20-hour days. Well, maybe not 20-hour days. I think sometimes we get lost in the fact that it's, you know, our time. And yes, we work incredibly hard. We do very, very difficult jobs. There's a lot of stress. In fact, this is probably one of the more self-induced stressful times that I've ever lived in. And maybe that's the case for you. And I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Indeed. Now, how do we alleviate that? Of course, the E word, it's called empathy. And I know this is yesterday when I was sitting there, I was walking out of a place, and there was a little kid left untethered who was in front of me, and the lady goes, come on, go. And I go, hey, ma'am, I'm trying not to run over the little kid. Trying not to, sorry, I just trying, 2 people are down, I'm going, okay, I get it. Or the restaurant where the wait is long, or, you know, the package guys. And by the way, to the FedEx guy who many years ago, it seems like many years ago, many months ago, when we were at Ed's 50s Cafe, bought me breakfast and said, hey, Kevin Miller, I appreciate you. Well, brother and sisters, I appreciate you in the retail packaging business. I mean, it would be nice that if we could press a button on Amazon and the thing would arrive to our door. But there are people that are working in these shops in Amazon. There are other people that are, you know, taking beatings and such, literally trying to get your packages out. And whether it's a business, whether it's at your home, whether it's UPS, whether it's FedEx, whether it's a local delivery service, I'm just amazed by these folks because there's no time off for those folks. This is the Super Bowl. This is the NCAA tournament. This is the Magic, right? So, again, just a few thoughts that I had yesterday as people were driving around, zooming around, and whether you were going to a local store or to Costco or something like that, it was just amazing, the overall mass of humanity. And then I'm looking at the people checking people out, how they're keeping themselves together. I'm looking at other folks going, wow, that is something. So the holiday Christmas message is a little patience, and I know that's easier said than done. Traffic and weather together with Kevin Miller in the morning at KIDO Talk Radio. You know, I had Cindy on my mind. Good morning, Cindy. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Good morning, Cindy.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. Thank you for giving a shout out in this season to be jolly, to encourage other people. There's so many niceties that people can do, whether that be just adding a little bit, maybe extra tips, thanking people. I just kept bumping into people, you know, in your, I would say, your kind of dollar store places that I tend to shop a lot in. And there were people holding the door for everybody else. And, you know, it just gratifies me that it's a time when you really understand this season to take such great joy. And I was joyous yesterday that the, quote, Republican Party, they stood together and they got that bill passed, and with Paul Ryan coming out with a great, just his voice was a sound of victory as opposed to it. I actually feel very sorry for Nancy Pelosi. She always comes off as the or and is trying to be so dismal about things. And, you know, this is actually, she was talking about coal yesterday, and I was laughing because she said, oh, this is like a gift of coal. And I said, oh, Nancy, I had a coal bin. We fired our house up with coal in Connecticut, and we used to use that coal on our snowman. And could you not just think that there was not one thing in that bill that they have to be just unified and not even really care? It's just not true that they're for the, you know, blue-collar workers. Our blue-collar workers, I just love all our plumbers, our police. Can you imagine? They put their life on the line. They once again, you know, came against a gang activity in Caldwell. people are doing beautiful things. You know, I'm planning for my future. A lady from an assisted living came up, and I mean, she's a sweet young girl in the area, and she put a card on my door. So there's so many little avenues that people can get out and be joyous and merry, and instead of, there's no demilitarized zone. You'll be on one or the other. You'll be an old, grumpy guy like Scrooge, or you can try to bring some merriment. So thanks, Kevin. That's what you do. You bring much merriment, and
so, I'm a merry guy.
Well, you actually are, and I like what
I misunderstood, Cindy, and I'm glad that you get that. I am a married,
you're
happy
saying
little elf.
Marrie. I know you're a married man. I'm very respectful around you, and I see you, Kevin. I can say 100% nobody's ever going to have to call you out on not being, respectful to women. I mean, so that's a good thing. I'm glad you know your place, and you mentioned Mrs. Miller a lot. And Kevin, I hope you gave her my Santa Christmas socks.
I did. She was wearing them the other night.
Oh, good. You keeping cozy and warm. Good. Don't let your dogs get near them. That's one thing, because they like chewing on stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to say that it is a joyous, merry day. Thank you, Republicans. They love to scare you about government shutdowns. And you know what? I only remember that horror when they tried to keep our veterans out of a park when the government, in Washington. And our president is so strong for our military. I'm just so blessed by that. So you're having a great show over there today. There's a lot of building going up around Caldwell, too. And we're going to get this economy rolling for everyone.
I don't know how you guys can make it in Caldwell. There's a ton of construction going on in downtown Caldwell.
Oh, it's real simple. You just go around, you go slow. I know always where I'm going. I was in several wonderful antique shops there. I don't have to worry. Sorry, Kevin. I'm not really much for bicycle people with electric bikes riding around all over the place. You can it's easy in, easy out. I just got some great things in two of our antique stores yesterday before I went over to do my calls from my call center, and I got another Christmas dinner from them. So it's all good.
That's great. Hey, thank you, by the way, for the wonderful gifts and for being our little, you and Liberty Linda, our two angels at the Christmas party.
Well, I can assure you, I need this Christ at Christmas because I was no angel. Angels are angels and people are people, and I've had my share of stuff in the past to be well forgiven about, but it was such a joyous time. I really had a good time. So thank you, and it's actually given me a, what would I say? An interest in going back maybe once or twice in the next year to Boise.
Well, Cindy, thank you.
You're welcome. But anyway, I'm going over to Marsing today. I'm much more a Marsing girl. Yeah, I just like it kind of low key. Come on over to Caldwell. It's real easy to get around. We got some great food places and just all kinds of interesting things to do. So you have a great day on the air day. Be positive, be up. This is good news for our country, and hopefully these Republicans will continue to stay together and work things out and get our president the platform to go forward that our president stood on. So have a great day, Kevin.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Cindy.
Toodaloo. Bye-bye.
Toodaloo, yes. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. By the way, we're at the new CapEd Credit Union on Overland right here in Meridian. We invite you to come by today. Going to be a huge grand opening. Lots of great ways to save money, of course. When you come into CapEd Credit Union, you, of course, are helping teachers. And the idea of taking care of teachers, taking care of our community, education is going to be one of the big forefronts of what's happening throughout the Treasure Valley. Let's face it, you've got right here in West Ada, people are concerned about more and more bond issues, more and more money issues. And we'll have the latest on that as well when we take a look at the upcoming school year. We've got the new middle school going up in Star, and it's just exploding. And unlike other parts of the country, you take a look, and by the way, there's a story at KIDOTalkRadio.com right now where we have Idaho is the fastest growing state in the country. And that is huge when you're thinking about just the overall growth. Now, what we've talked about on this program for years, it seems, that we have, trying to manage that growth. And by the way, if you're going to any type of retail environment. If you're like a friend of mine, we'll just call him Joe, who goes to Cabela's all the time, Cabela's or Best Buy or any of those places, it's just an insane place. But what really it comes down to is treating people like you want to be treated, right? That's what it comes down to. And that's easier said than done, especially during the Christmas time. So I would ask you to be patient. I would ask you, when you're looking at things and shopping and having a good time and remembering me, there's another person on the other side of that register that is, working and being overwhelmed and doing their very best. And that should be the real spirit of the season, is to, just be a little patient. And, of course, with the crazies on the road, which we'll get to as we move along. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. And welcome back. Here we are at the brand-new CapEd location. Kevin Miller in the morning here. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. And coming up, we'll speak with Patriot Ray, who's here. Barb in Sunny Slope that wants to talk about the big mistrial in Nevada. But we are joined by the CEO of the Meridian Chamber of Commerce, Richard Bonney. Richard, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
So let's talk a little bit about the mission of the Meridian Chamber. What's going on? What are the big plans for world domination for next year, sir?
Well, we're just gearing up for the legislative session like a lot of the chambers around the state. We just met with our legislators actually on Tuesday and kind of previewed our priorities for the legislative session and what we hope to see on the agenda.
Well, when we take a look at the business of Meridian right now, business seems to be booming.
Yeah, businesses are growing, coming into the area downtown. Businesses are doing well at the same time, and we have a lot of growth here in the city.
Now, as far as your background, before you've become the grand poobah of the Meridian Chamber, sir, what did you do?
Yeah, so recently I was working for the Associated General Contractors, the largest construction association in the state. I was their East Idaho director, and so I was working on transportation issues, all construction-related issues on that side of the state for our contractors.
Well, maybe you can help us with the transportation issues we have here. The growth problems, seem to be overwhelming these buildings and not the buildings, but these roads that are brand new here.
Yeah, that's the number one complaint I've heard so far moving to Meridian. I'm new to this side of the state, and everyone says, can you fix our transportation? The growth is great, but with it comes lots of problems and issues, and transportation seems to be one of those main issues.
Sure. When we talk about the legislative session, what are the big major concerns of the Meridian Chamber? What are you looking to do?
Yeah, well, we're always concerned about the impact of taxes on our businesses, and with the new federal tax law that just got passed, that's going to have an impact here on our local businesses, our small businesses, and our large businesses. So we'll be monitoring that and make sure that all our tax policies protect our businesses and ensure growth and protect our community. So that's a big issue. One issue that's always kind of been on our agenda that I think is gaining a little more steam is that the supermajority here in the state of Idaho, you hear that a lot, is it's hard to pass bonds in the state and in this community when our supermajority is that you have to get 2/3 majority, and I think that's an issue that we'd like to look at and discuss, maybe lowering that to 60%. Some of our legislators have pushed back on that, but I think a lot of our businesses, and especially here with our school district growing and always trying to add new schools, I think that would be something that we could look at that would help us spur more growth.
Indeed. Now, you'll be here tonight at 5 o'clock if people want to come by and meet you.
Yep, I'll be here. Yeah, we have business after hours here at CapEd and with Todd and his team, and we'll be here 5 to 7 and introduce myself to the community. I'm new here to Meridian. I'm trying to get out and meet anyone and everyone I can, so come by here at 5 and I'll be able to sit down and meet you.
Boy, it's a tough time of year, though, right?
Yeah, busy time of year. Just been moved over here a month. My family isn't even over here yet, so it's been a crazy time. It's hard meeting everyone because they're busy with year-end stuff and with holiday things, but it's a great time to be here in Meridian.
Lots of extra time, though, for you to work since they're
that's right.
They're still at home. What about your partnership with CapEd? What would you like to say about that?
Oh, they're great. Todd and his team are great supporters of the community and of the chamber. They have been a part of this community for a long time, and they have great expertise, and they've been here through the growth, and they know this community and its people, and we rely on their expertise to help guide us as a chamber.
All right, Mr. Bonney, anything else?
No, that's all I got, Kevin. Great to be here. Appreciate all the people of Meridian welcoming me, and it's been great being here.
Well, thank you, sir. Welcome to the community.
Thanks, Kevin.
It is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We go to Barb in Sunny Slope. Barb, good morning.
Good morning. So you mentioned the good news that Bundy's were the case for now is dismissed. I am so excited, even though we don't know for sure whether it's totally dismissed or whether she'll just consider retrying them. But right now it's dismissed.
Yeah, I could have used that first call about 6:06 this morning. But anyway, better late than never, Barb. But
I'm sorry. I was still out Never Land at 6:06. What happened
Yeah.
at 6:06? But
people, thanks. Well, you'll have to tune in to find out. Miss a day, miss a lot. But if you listen to that half hour, I was out to Never Land. So you talked to the folks that have supported the Bundys for years and such. Of course, you have Ammon Bundy, who lives in Emmett. Is he coming home for Christmas? Do we know about that at all?
well, as far as I know, not. No. And I could be wrong. It could have changed. But last I knew, they wouldn't let him come home for Christmas. They're keeping him down there.
Right. I guess he's not at a facility. He's not in the jail anymore. He's just
No, he's a halfway house. And as I say, I don't know if things changed yesterday, but as of before yesterday, they wouldn't even let him be someplace else other than the halfway house. Whereas they did Ryan or something, he can't go to stay with his relatives or his family down there, which was crushing because he's got his leases down there with their 6 kids,
Exactly.
So I reached out to Lisa yesterday. I don't know. I didn't hear back, so I don't know that.
Well, Barb, do we have anything else?
No,
or did
we
you
don't.
just want to call in and just say there was a mistrial?
Yes, I did.
Because this is starting to resemble the 6:06 to 6:30 segment of the Kevin Miller Show, where I was saying a lot but not really resonating. So, and I don't find that funny, Barb, but you can chuckle all you want and go back to Never Land.
Yeah, no.
This is serious business, Barb. This is how I pay my mortgage. This is serious.
This
yes.
is true.
Right. So anything else? I think maybe you should call back in the 8 o'clock hour. You don't sound like you're awake, Barb.
Oh, no, I'm awake. So, but I just wanted to get that out in case anybody didn't know.
Well, there we have it. Breaking news. Thank you, Barb.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Patriot Ray, a veteran of many experiences with Kevin Miller, when we used to do the live Saturday morning show, which you started with me.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, I don't miss that. I don't miss getting there at 5 in the morning on Saturdays and rolling. So, you got to bring it. You can't sing it. So
Well, I had more than my 15 minutes of fame, so that was kind of neat.
Right. Then
But
you
now
moved on to other
it's kinda
things.
Over. Well, yeah, things
Right.
are busier for me right now.
Right.
The mistrial, that doesn't mean it's over because they can bring him back.
Sure.
And they've been talking about that, too. So to say that it's over is not even close to being there until they say it's done. And
Right.
the federal government being so crooked the way they've done things. But I look at the Democratic Party right now, and all they are is the Grinch, telling all the bad stuff. They won't come up and say anything good about anything that's come about. There's no good for anybody. It's just bad for everybody. So I look at businesses that seem to be improving. I look at my line of work, where I work for my church, and
Sure.
things are getting a little better there as you look around because they believe that things are improving also.
Well, let's talk about your church. They've built a new temple in Meridian.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful edifice. So
It is. Had a chance to visit.
dedicated to the Lord. It's beautiful. It's beautiful inside. You got a chance to go inside. That's
I
awesome.
did.
Yeah, you got a special tour, I understand.
When you know Todd Christensen, good things happen to you.
That's absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about the season, because you've always brought this back when we're talking about Christmas and giving and family. Always so important to all of us. We missed you at the Christmas party, so what would you like to say?
Well, I asked my children, who are in their 50s and 40s and 30s, what their favorite Christmas was. And one year, my oldest daughter talked the younger siblings into opening some packages. And we discovered that, and we asked them, what was your favorite toy that you saw? And when they told us, we said, we're giving those away.
Never self-reported.
And
yeah,
so,
hold on.
excuse me. I
That's
tried to
pretty
cover
brutal.
up.
I
tried to
mean, you
cover
know
up.
better than that. Come
Yeah,
on.
I tried to cover
Okay,
up.
we've started the program with me being incoherent.
Yeah.
Todd Christensen calling me Larry. Barb asleep.
Yeah, I heard Larry.
Yes, Barb asleep. Rambling. I mean,
Yeah.
thank goodness we had Cindy to save the day.
Absolutely.
Right. This is no way to run a radio show. So, and then you giving me the blast in my ear. I
So
appreciate
sorry.
I appreciate the apology, but my eardrums are still ringing.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
should I do it again?
No, you can do it. Yes, you
Try
can do
to
it.
help.
One more. Yes,
Yeah,
but
no,
anyway.
thanks.
So back to the story. So your kids opened their presents, and you said, "Hey, what was your favorite present?"
Absolutely. So
Hey, hold on. No harm, no foul. They're going, "Hey, Dad, we really liked this one."
Well, my oldest daughter really wanted a race car set of all things because her brother had one the year before. And
right.
So we said, well, we're giving those away. And so we knew a family that was really destitute. In fact, what they were going to be getting for Christmas was a cereal bowl and a spoon. That was their Christmas present because it came free and you sent a box top in or something. And so we took it to that family, and doorbell ditched them. And a few days later, the father came to me and with tears, basically saying that somebody had come and just saved their Christmas. And my daughter says that's her favorite Christmas. So every year since then, they've insisted that we do something for somebody else besides themselves. So this year, our children said, we don't want presents ourselves. We want to our families to go out and find a Christmas tree, a giving tree. And we did that. And we all went down. We had a ball. We picked up names, several apiece, and bought gifts, and then took them back to the place where the Christmas tree was and loaded up their bin. It was really a neat experience. Then we went out to dinner as a family and talked about this year and all years of Christmas, what it means to people.
You know what
it's not just getting, it's giving.
I love about you, Patriot Ray at KIDO Talk Radio, is you have the best attitude ever. You've shared your story many times. And if you don't mind, if you could just give us that again, what led you to where you are now, the rough times you've been through, and as a source of inspiring people that right now might not be the best time for them, might be a tough time for them, sir.
Well, I've truly been blessed. I mean, yeah, we lost a home. We had to give it up. It was a home we built.
Right.
And we were there for 20 years, but the economy took us down. I used to own Sandray Plumbing. It's no longer in business. My son finally went to work for another company, and he was really concerned about that because it was my baby, and I told him, no, it's your baby now because you took it over. And
I mean, you were, though, putting plumbing in like all these homes, and you were a big-time successful guy.
Well, I wasn't big time. I had
You were
a few
big-time.
employees, but I had we did several thousand homes and plumbing in the area in the last 24 years. And we loved it. I loved it. It was a good trade for me. When the business went down and I had an opportunity to go to work for my church, it just happened to come at the right time. And been blessed with a good boss who had a home that he was going to rent. And it was rented. And we only had 3 days to get out of our house. And he came to me and said, I just got told by my renter that he's leaving. And he's left now. I want to know if I want to look at it. So that's where we've been for the last, 5 years, almost 5 years. And we love it. We're doing well. I've never had it so good right now. I've always struggled through my life. I've been in times I've had 3 jobs at one time to support my family when I was younger. Don't think I could do that today. But if I had to, I'd sure try. But I don't have to right now. I'm blessed.
Well,
the good Lord has been good.
Well, your reflection of God in your life, then.
Well, He's my Savior. Jesus Christ is my brother, and through that, if I hadn't have joined the church when I did, it's been 42 years now, I don't know where I'd be. I don't think I'd be married because my wife had even considered divorce because she was a member when I married her. And for 8 years, she put up with me. And she had talked to her bishop, and he said, no, I think Ray's a good guy, and you ought to hang on and just be a good example. And that's what she did. She showed me what Christ was all about through her example, through attending her church meetings and helping children and helping other people. She's been truly a blessing in my life for the last 52 years and plus now. So I'm grateful. I am truly blessed. And we love to help other people because we know that for the grace of God go I, So we're just grateful to be a member of this community. We moved up here 30 years ago from Southern California.
You were the
don't
first.
hold that against me, please. I was born in Ohio. My wife was born in Twin Falls, Idaho, so I kind of consider I'm grandfathered in because of that.
I see. I see.
But we have been truly blessed through life.
Anything else you'd like to share with us?
You know, I think that as we look to the future, let's look to the good in people. Let's look to what this president has really accomplished with all the battles he's had to fight within his own party and with those who claim that they want to help this country, but all we see is the tearing down of this country. For the 8 years that Obama was in place, and before that Clinton and some of the others, they didn't do much to help us. They kept promising. This president has come through, and we need to look at that and not look at the things that were different about us. Look at the things that were the same about us. It doesn't make any difference what the color of our skin is. It doesn't make any difference what religion we are. It doesn't make any difference if you live in a different part of the community than I do. We are still brothers and sisters in the Lord, and I am grateful for that.
Patriot Ray, God bless.
God bless you. Thanks for letting me stop in and bug you a little bit.
Well,
tell
we missed
Dorothy
you.
we love her.
We missed you at the Christmas party.
You know, I missed it too. I was sitting there listening. I'm thinking, wish I could be there, but I had several things I had to accomplish before the end of the week, and I've been getting those things done. And happened to work a little bit of overtime this week because of that, and I had about an hour and a half that I could get away. And I thought, I'm going to go to see Kevin.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. And God bless the community. God bless what Cap Ed does and the chambers as they work around this state. We're grateful for them. I was a plumbing contractor for almost 36 years and know all about what's going on in the community still. I still try to keep in touch, not as much as I was, but I still try to keep in touch with a lot of things. And there are so many great companies around here who are trying to get by, and some of them will succeed much better than others because of the way the economy is going right now. And we're looking for jobs returning here. And it's growing, and you can see it every place in the state. It is growing tremendously. Kevin, you take care. We are grateful for you and 580 KIDO and all that you do and all that you've done for the community. You take time of your own life and spend it out there in the cold, sitting out there making sure that those who are in need get the turkeys they need.
Well, you've spent many mornings with me. I remember I thought we almost lost you and Tea Party Bob one year. It was so cold.
It was darn cold, I'll tell you. But we just love it. And I love to give where I can. We don't have much to give, but we try to give all we can. And God has been good to us. So, Kevin, hug your sweetheart for me. I've been hoping to get over and see her.
Sure. Hope Blooms and Eagles.
Hope
yes.
Blooms and Eagles, you bet.
Right.
She's awesome. And she gives a lot, too. And you give. So continue to do that. Continue to bless the community. You're a great, valued asset to this community. So thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
Have a great day.
All right. Patriot Ray. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. There's an issue involving sportsmanship at a local high school. Let's take a listen from our friends at Channel 7.
Even at the ticket counter, it says, be a sport.
It's supposed to be a fun event.
But that's not so easy for some parents and spectators.
It happens everywhere, from club sports, middle schools, seen it all the way through.
Who might take things to the next level, get ugly, particularly towards officials.
We've had an increase of spectators, parents that are more vocal than they have been in the past.
And more aggressive. In early December, in the fourth quarter of a Mountain View girls basketball game, I'm told a player's dad came onto the court and threw a coat at the official.
They were dealt with right away.
The 3rd District Board of Control oversees incidents like this for high school activities in our area.
This is not the first, and it won't be the last.
And Chairperson Terry Beck says that's why there's administrators at games.
Mountain View did a great job taking care of business.
In working with the school, the board suspended the player's dad from all activities for an entire year, while the mom, who board members say has a track record of bad behavior, was banned for a month.
Now, before we get back to the Channel 7 story here at KIDO Talk Radio, so, look, we all love sports. And if you're a fan of BSU, like I said, congratulations on the win over Oregon. I don't think that Oregon coach is going to be there much longer. Again, when the players sit there and say, we want this coach, and they have that lackadaisical effort, it would have been nice to see the passion that we saw in the past seasons against Oregon with the Oregon Ducks. That didn't happen. But, you know, how many of us can relate to this when we're at a Optimus football game or basketball? Now, with all due respect to girls basketball, and if you see somebody tonight running wild during the Vandals game, I'll be shooting some video and photos there, dressed in the typical Kevin Miller shorts and a long shirt. But this is girls basketball. Was it really necessary to run out on the court and throw a jacket at the official? I mean, if girls basketball is not sacred, I really don't know what is anymore.
But it's not just a Mountain View thing. Across the country, parents and officials get in altercations.
Its top officials are human too.
At every level. And according to the Officials Association, it's part of the reason many newcomers ditch the profession.
It's hard to find officials in all activities. You don't get paid a lot.
In the board's meeting minutes, the Officials Association asked that administrators be more visible, preventative, and proactive in dealing with parent issues instead of waiting for incidents to occur.
Just out of the blue, if somebody does something, nobody can stop that.
This situation is re-emphasizing what administrators need to be doing in terms of supervision and in taking care of officials at games. And they're trying to emphasize to officials that they should not be interacting with spectators at any time.
Officials, hang in there. You know, we're behind you, and yes, they do a great job, because without officials, we will not have activities.
And there we have it from our friends at Channel 7, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's go to Hank in Boise, a first-time participant in our Kevin Miller Christmas party. Hank, good morning.
Good morning. I was getting hopefully you got a hold of that photograph. I stuck it in the reception's window, but I don't know if you got it or not, of the KIDO microphone and Franklin Roosevelt and William Mora around the KIDO microphone when FDR was in Boise. And I might point out, before I get to my main point, that Roosevelt later toured the Boise North End in an open car after the ceremonies were over with. So people got to see him actually on their door porches as he traveled up 13th and then crossed over on Irene and some of the North End streets on his way. He didn't rejoin his train until Ontario, but he drove through the Boise North End and to Nampa Caldwell in an open car. And getting to my point about the Bundys should be pardoned, I think, by President Trump, and they need to fire the BLM people who can be fired, who can be political appointments that can be fired, and also in the Forest Service. And they need a complete change of policy. I think with this travesty, they should get it over with by just giving the Bundys an outright pardon and get it over with. This is a great injustice.
Well, do you think that will happen?
Well, we can keep our fingers crossed. I think it would be helpful if one of the people of our delegation, whether it's Labrador or maybe one of our state senators, would come to Trump and address the subject, willing to carry the ball and bring this subject up with the President of the United States. I think that would meet, and maybe some other people in delegations in the West, it would be helpful in getting the ball rolling, I would think.
Well, all right, Hank. Anything else?
No. There's one more thing I was going to also point out. There was a Civil War veteran who was living in Boise who was part of the honor guard of Abraham Lincoln's funeral that actually came up to Roosevelt's car. And there's photographs of that, too, of him talking to FDR. And he was the part of the honor guard when Lincoln's body laid in the U.S. Capitol after the assassination. And he was about 97 years old in 1937. And he was the last surviving member who was present at the ceremonies in the Capitol of Lincoln's, after Lincoln's assassination.
Wow.
So here are those pieces of trivia.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Hank.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Traffic and weather. And I'm Kevin Miller as we continue on here. But getting back to, the holidays are supposed to be about enjoying oneself. And whether it's stress at the store, yesterday I'm sitting there in line and some young lady, probably in her mid-60s, just cuts in front of me and starts saying, well, I need this and my husband that. And I'm going, hey, respect the sanctity of the line. Respect the sanctity of the line, please. And you just kind of sit there and, whether you recite the Serenity Prayer, whether you just sit there and try and find someone, as I usually do, to make goofy looks with back and forth. You just got to get through it. And these games we'll talk about a little bit more coming up as well, just how to get through it. Plus, remembering the year that was. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio.